This presentation is an overview of the U.S. oil industry's impact on the economy, employment, and the GDP in Washington state and in the U.S. The petroleum industry, commonly referred to as the oil and gas industry, entails the process of exploration, extraction, refining, global transportation, and marketing of petroleum products. The oil industry can be broken down into three categories: upstream, midstream, and downstream. Upstream includes exploration and production, midstream includes transportation and storage, downstream includes the refining and distribution. Each of these three categories include a number of prominent businesses and some that are integrated and involved in each step of the oil refining process. According to the Washington State Department of Natural Resources, there is no oil or gas extraction in Washington state. However, according to Fred, there is a very small but evident impact on Washington's GDP from oil extraction. Washington state is one of the major locations of U.S. oil refineries. There are 5 oil refineries in Washington state, including BP Cherry Point, HF Sinclair, Marathon, Phillips 66, Our Pacific/U.S. Oil. As seen in the figures, these companies contribute over $4 billion to the GDP in Washington in 2022. The oil industry plays a significant role on the GDP in the United States. In 2022, the oil and gas extraction contributed about $320 billion to the GDP. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, as of January 1, 2024, there were 132 operable petroleum refineries in the United States. These refineries processed 18.4 million barrels of oil per day in 2023 and contributed over 110 million that year to the U.S. GDP. There are approximately 918,000 active oil wells in the United States, producing over 13 million barrels of oil per day and contributing over $250 billion to the U.S. GDP. As you can see, over the last 15 years, the United States has had a larger increase in oil production than any other country. The United States has been the top oil producer in the world for about 7 years. Advancements in technology have changed the way oil is extracted and refined in the United States. The use of fracturing and horizontal drilling has increased oil production since the 40s, but more recent advancements in fracking technique and horizontal drilling have further increased production. From 2007 to 2016, annual U.S. oil production increased 75%, and natural gas production increased 39%. Now that we have shown that the oil industry contributes to the GDP, let's look at how the oil industry contributes to the GDP. The oil industry produces significant tax revenue. According to Oxford economic study completed last year, $688 billion of economic activity was supported by petroleum refining and generated tax revenue of $162 billion. Federal taxes made up nearly half of the total tax contribution at 48%, or $77 billion. State governments receiving 29%, or $47 billion, of the total oil industry tax contribution, while local governments received the remainder, 23%, or $38 billion. Oxford Economics 2024. The tax revenue is utilized in federal and state and local programs. According to Washington Department of Commerce, the Washington refineries contributed more than $292 million each year in state and local taxes. This funding supports public services, pollution prevention, environmental cleanup, and more. The Washington State Refineries Economic Impact Study in 2024 showed the 5 oil refineries in Washington state employed 4,200 employees and contractors. As union workers, these employees are above average wages, averaging $200,000 per year. In the United States, the oil and gas industry directly employs over 200,000 people. In addition, it is estimated that it could indirectly support over 1 million jobs. Jobs in the oil industry often pay more than similar alternatives. This circulates more money into the local economy and boosts the economy. In addition to its impact on jobs and The oil industry impacts other businesses and consumers. Without the oil industry, the U.S. fuel prices would be a lot higher. This would make things such as agriculture and transporting goods much more expensive, lowering production and hurting the GDP. The U.S. has been an overall exporter of oil since 2021, decreasing our dependence on other countries for our oil needs. Upstream jobs include engineering and technical jobs such as drilling engineers, petroleum engineers, hydrologists, geographers, reservoir engineers, production and business and development managers, product managers, HSE advisors, and environmental protection managers, engineers, and geoscientists. Field and operation positions such as rig managers, oil field workers referred to as restabouts, well testing operators, and rig supervisors, and of course the positions in management and safety. Engineering and technical jobs include pipeline engineers, facilities engineers, instrumentation and electrical technicians, mechanical technicians, commercial analysts, scheduler, nominalist analyst. Field and operation jobs include pipeline operator, terminal operator, control room operator, pipeline technician, truck driver, and logistics coordinator. And again, their management and safety employees included project manager, contracts administrator, regulatory affairs specialist, HSE coordinator, and environmental specialist. In the late 1980s, the oil industry showed a decline in employment, which is attributed to low oil prices due to a global overproduction of oil during that time, as shown in the figure. During this time, there was also an increase in technologies used, including changing in drilling, deep water drilling, and fracturing. Employment began to increase again, especially in the upstream portion of the industry as new forms of drilling were introduced through 2005 to 2010. Historical events such as COVID-19 pandemic led to a decrease in employment in 2020 to 2021. This is a continuation of the previous slide showing there is an overall decline in employment since 1985. Even though there has been occasional increases, the overall trend has been a decrease in employment numbers. The oil industry offers competitive or better than average pay. They employ over 122,000 employees. Entry to mid-level positions earn 40 to 60,000 per year. Mid-level positions earn 51 to 81,000 per year, and more senior positions to engineering consultant positions earn 150 to 305,000 per year. Employees are often offered benefits including healthcare, housing, training, paid vacation, businesses, and overtime pay, making it an active job choice. The average or mean pay for a restabout or entry-level worker in 2024 was $49,040, while more educated petroleum engineers with bachelor's degree made an average of $169,280 per year in 2024. Someday in the future, we may switch to more alternative forms of energy, but for now, the oil industry is crucial to most industries in the United States and continues to be a major contributor to employment and the GDP.